At this point, I have my first three joints, my first skeletal chain created. My next joints are going to be for one of the little ears. So I'll just go ahead and zoom in a little closer to it in my front and side views. And then in the skeleton menu, create joints. I will start at the base of the ear, stick a joint in the middle of the ear, and then put a joint out at the tip of the ear. When I press enter, that will create this joint chain. These three joints I am going to call base joint, middle joint, and then we'll call this last one tip joint. And you're probably wondering, these are really generic names, how am I going to know that it's the ear? Up in the Modify menu, there is this thing called Prefix Hierarchy Name. I have the base joint, which is the root joint, selected. I can go to Prefix Hierarchy Name, and I can type in ear underscore, and now all three of these will be given an ear prefix. This also happens to be the left side of the character, so I will go ahead and go back to Prefix Hierarchy Name. For left, I like to use LF underscore. I'm being very specific about my capitalization, and remember, I'm always thinking about what's going to make this really easy to select. I don't ever want to use just an L because there are lots of words that have L in them, so I'm going to be very particular, LF underscore. Now this chain looks great. I could turn my radii down a little bit. Maybe I will take all three of these, and maybe down just like that, maybe a little bigger. Lovely. I also think that this middle joint is a little bit too far forwards. It's right up at the front of the ear, and I'd like it to be back a little bit. When you're moving joints after you've made them, you can use the Move tool. If I move this joint, you'll see that it also moves the tip joint because the tip joint is the child of the middle joint. However, if I press the D key on my keyboard, that will move me into pivot manipulation mode. When I'm in pivot manipulation mode, I can move one joint at a time. When I press D again, I will be back in the normal ordinary Move tool. So these three joints form my ear. I want this chain to be part of the body chain, so when I'm done with this, I have one whole solid skeletal system. That means that I need to make this ear base joint the child of my root joint here. There are a couple of ways that I can do this. First, I can select the joint that I want to be the child, the ear base. I can shift select the joint I want to be the parent, in this case the root, and I can press the P key on my keyboard, and you'll see that that creates a bone between them. My other option is over here in the outliner. I can select the left ear base and middle mouse drag it over to the middle joint, which is the root, and that gives me the exact same response. So now I've got one skeletal chain for my ear tip. So in this video, we talked a little bit about moving individual joints, creating a second joint chain, and parenting all of these joints together. As a last note, I can also unparent if I click on this ear base and middle mouse drag it out of the middle joint. That will break the connection between them or disconnect them. So joints hierarchies are pretty easy to manipulate. you can parent and unparent using any parental methods that you like, middle mouse dragging and dropping, or selecting the child first, the parent second, and pressing P.